Hey guys, welcome back. So today we will continue our testing of various handguns using our torture test methodology that you've seen before. The handgun that we have out here this afternoon is a Walther PPQ. This is one of the most requested handguns for this testing based upon the comment sections in my videos. So this handgun belongs to my business partner at Copper, and it is a Walther PPQ that he shoots a little bit. You can tell the wear is very light on the gun. The gun is definitely broken in. You can also see there's very little wear on the hood, so he doesn't shoot it as much as he probably should. The only thing that's not factory on the gun is the TFX True Glow sights. Everything else is factory. We will be using factory magazines and firing the Fiocchi 9mm 124 grain ball ammo in this testing. Same ammo we've used before. Now the ammunition may change down the road depending on what we can get our hands on, okay? And here are the factory magazines with the ammunition loaded. And we have the exact same 4 elements out here for testing, which is water, sand, dirt, and mud. All right, guys, how's a PPQ gonna do? Only the PPQ knows. Let's find out. All right, guys, here we go. 10 rounds of the Fiocchi 124 grain ball. Load it, make the gun ready as if we were going to carry it. Submerge it in the water until the bubbles stop coming up. And then fire 10 rounds. And it locks open. One of these days I'm going to remember to put this shield down. Go straight to the sand. Make the weapon ready. Push it flush on one side. Turn it over, push it flush on the other side. And fire. All right. Dunk the weapon off. Dunk the weapon and get the sand off. Make the weapon ready. Go straight to the dirt. Push it in on one side. Push it in on the other side, flush, and then fire. Locked open. Go ahead and dunk the gun, clean it off a little bit. And the last test will be the mud test. Here we go. Make the weapon ready, put it in the mud, push it down, turn it over, push it down again, and then fire. All right, so our little PPQ made it through round 1 without a hiccup. Pretty impressive. So how will it do going straight through the gauntlet, not taking a bath in between every stage? Well, let's load up some magazines and find out. All right, guys, so the PPQ made it through the first round of testing without any issues. Now we don't dunk it between each test stage. We just go from water to sand to dirt to mud and see how it does. We also push the materials up over the gun. Let it stay underwater till it stops bubbling. We push the materials up over the gun to kind of increase how rigid the test is, how tough it is. 10 rounds of water, no problem. Go to sand, push it flush, turn it over, push it flush, bring some of the sand up on it. All right, here we go, 10 rounds. Locks open, go straight to dirt, push it flush, turn it over, push it flush. Now you can see how the dirt's getting in there. All right, any open spot, it's going to make it in. Same thing with the Glock, which is actually quite open there. Bring it over. All right, fire off 10 rounds. All right, and here we go into the mud. Push it flush, turn it over, bring the mud up over it. This is the best part. And fire 10 rounds. It's got to clear off a hand spot there. Jeez, dude. All right. All right, failure to go into battery. Let's see if I can tap it home. I got it home. Yeah. No, I can't. My hands are too slippery. All right, so guys, it kind of puked right there. My hands are too slippery to actually run the slide. So I'm going to have to wash it off. We got a live round in the chamber. I just have to get it cleaned off enough where I can actually run the action on it. All right. Ooh. All right, that sucker's seized up, guys. So we're going to have to see if we can. We do have a live round in the chamber. Why don't you stand back, man? There we go. That's what we had to do to the SIG. Oh. All right, got the live round out. Let's see if we can find it. All right, so there's the live round. So it choked on the mud. Let's see if it can finish off what rounds we have remaining in the magazine by dunking it one more time. There it is. All right, we still have a few rounds left. Let's try it one more time. Put it in the mud, push it flush. Put it in the mud, push it flush, bring the mud up over it. And then all right, even locked open. So I'm not sure what happened. Sometimes, guys, what I think happens is when it recoils after a round is fired, it flicks mud down onto the next round that's feeding up, and that's why rounds get stuck in the chamber. It's taking some debris in with it. It's not very scientific, but the fact that it finished out the last few rounds tells me that's probably what happened. Something likely got onto that round that was feeding, causing it to stick in the chamber just a little bit. Anyway, pretty good performance from the old Walther PPQ. I think it actually beat the Glock. Well, guys, since the PPQ came so close to going through this gauntlet without a hiccup, we're going to give it one more chance, kind of like what we did with the Glock in the last video, where it got a third chance. We're just going to see what happens, see if we can replicate the failure that we had in the mud, or maybe it'll have a failure elsewhere. Let's find out. One more chance for the PPQ. Into the water, no bubbles. Locks open, go straight to sand. Push it flush, turn it over, we'll push it flush again, bring some sand up on it. All right, 10 rounds. Okay, so it didn't go into battery. Let's try tapping it home. All right, so it's seized up. So I'm guessing something went into the chamber with the round. So we do have a hot weapon. Let's go ahead and clean it off a bit so I can get my hands on the serrations here. If I can get it to come out, it's stuck once again. All right. All right, guys. So it just seems that perhaps the chamber is just a little bit tighter than the other guns. I don't know, but it keeps having the same failure where I can't get it to go into battery. Let's go ahead, finish out the magazine. Might as well try to finish out the test. All right, put it back in the sand on one side, sand on the other. And see what happens here. All right, finished out that magazine. Let's go to the dirt. Down on one side, down on the other. Bring the dirt up around it. All right. Okay, and then the mud. Magazine latch is sticking a little bit. It's a little bit gritty, I can tell that. Into the mud on one side, push down flush. Into the mud on the other side, bring some of the mud up on it. And clear a spot out for me to grab it. All right, dead trigger. Now look at how much stuff is on the gun. All right, so this is what I think is happening, is contaminants following the round into the chamber. And I don't care what happens. If you get something into the chamber with the round, you're going to have a failure such as this. See if I can tap it home. I can. Okay. Dead trigger. I have to cock the pistol again. Let's get that round out. All right. Dead trigger. Ah. All right, so there we go. It's hard to say. It's consistent in that it does that. But I don't know, guys. You guys be the judge. All right, guys, so Sam is joining me here in front of the camera to talk about what happened with the Walther PPQ. So, first pass, uneventful. Made it through?
Yeah, pretty uneventful, pretty, you know, I think, like I've mentioned in previous videos, any gun from a reputable manufacturer should be able to get through the first round of this testing without so much as a single hiccup or nothing more than maybe one or two.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that it did really good on the first test. Then when we got into the Gauntlet, as we're calling it, where we don't wash the gun off between each stage, we started to see a consistent type of failure, which was a failure to go into battery. It wasn't the gun was so gunked up it wasn't working. It wasn't any of that. What seemed to be happening was that contaminant from the outside of the gun, when it recoiled, because always get that first round off, something would fall down into the ejection port onto the next round being fed most likely, and was causing the round to stick in the chamber, preventing me from being able to whap the slide home. There's very few things that can keep you from forcing a slide home, and pretty much the only thing that can really do it that I can think of off the top of my head outside of a broken gun is something going into that chamber with, with the round.
Something coming, like you said, when it's recoiling, something coming down on top of the brass as it's going forward, impeding the chamber, the fully seating of the round in the chamber, and then obviously your slide's out of battery at that point. You can hit it a couple times and it'll force it to go into battery, even then the striker wasn't cocked, so then you couldn't shoot the gun anyway. So
which is exactly what happened. So yeah, I mean, it was it seemed to be consistent. Now keep in mind, guys, when we're lumping that stuff onto the top of the gun, you know, it's setting up here, it's setting around the ejection port, so as it goes back under recoil, it could throw that debris off the gun into the mouth of the gun and then chamber that next round with some contaminant on it, which is our best guess. Who knows? But it may have been what caused the Legion to seize up hard, because that's exactly what happened to the Legion.
Yeah.
Had to beat it barrel down by pulling back on the slide and tapping it on the muzzle to get it to release. So I'm guessing that's what happened when the Legion seized up. So anyway, very similar failures once we got to, what was it, sand and then the mud.
Yeah, the sand I think is pretty, like I've stated before, it's pretty devastating to these pistols. It's super gritty, and the big granules can get in there and really just mess things up pretty royally, but I think the PPQ performed pretty flawlessly. So. And
you can kind of hear it. We can hear it with our electronic ears how gritty the action was getting.
Yeah, I mentioned to Tim off camera that it sounded to me like I was cringing a little bit when he was putting the magazines into the gun themselves, because there's so much grit down in you know, just the magazine well itself and the grip, that there's got to be even more up
you can hear
there.
It
when you hear the slide run, it's still like.
So, and keep in mind, guys, we're using the same magazines over and over again. We're just dunking them in the water, so the guns are not getting lubricated or cleaned between any of this testing. We start off with a lubed and cleaned gun, and then we go through all this testing without doing anything more than just dunking it in water to rinse it off.
Yep.
So PPQ, how to perform? I mean, maybe it's a design issue that it's allowing it, because it consistently got stuff in its mouth, I think, that was keeping it from going home. I don't know if that's a design issue, but up until that point, I think it did fairly good. It's hard to place on the spectrum of guns we've tested so far.
I think it places somewhere below the AREX.
Yeah, the AREX is the one to beat again. It's kind of weird, because, you know, I would say the Glock had fewer problems. We had a few problems with the Glock.
Yeah.
But going from memory, it seems like
the Glock had
consistent performance.
The Glock had fewer serious problems. The chamber getting impeded and the slide not going into battery with a dead striker is pretty. That's pretty bad.
Nasty.
At that point, even if you can't rack the gun, then you basically have a paperweight in your hand. You're going to
And so with the mud that was on the gun, I was unable to. I had to put it in the water because I couldn't get enough traction on the slide serrations, which are fairly shallow. I don't know if you can see them on there, on the gun. So any type of moisture, anything, those are really shallow serration. So that, I would say, is a failing of the gun in and of itself. I mean, if you have wet or dirty hands, you're just not going to get enough traction to get the gun to clear malfunction. So I would say that I would like a little bit sharper serrations. But yeah, the Glock didn't have those types of failures. So anyway, overall, you guys be the judge. I mean, we're just doing the testing. You can listen to the commentary that Sam and I contribute to what we think how the gun's performing. But you guys be your own judge. We're just leaving the camera rolling. Every failure that happens, you guys see. Every success that happens, you guys see.
I try and get in on the pistol so you guys can see exactly what the problem is. I step back when he shoots, step in, so you can see, you know, what the exact issue is. Maybe if you guys have any comments on that, definitely leave them in the comment box, and we'll
we do try to stick around for the first couple of days after we post the videos to read through those comments, and we do look for any, you know, comments that you guys may have on how we can improve our testing methodology, or perhaps what went wrong with the pistol. It's all good. It's nice to have a discussion about that, and we encourage that down below. Just be nice to each other. Don't be insulting, because if you guys are like really, really rude to each other or to any of us, banhammer. We like to encourage a civil discourse and about all this stuff that we're seeing here. So anyway, yeah, anyway, I think it did okay. I think it did pretty good, actually. I think it did better than I thought it was going to do based on our conversations. I was saying, yeah, I don't think it's going to do that well.
Yeah, me neither, but I think it did just fine. I think that it performed admirably with the one exception of the chamber getting locked up there. So.
It happened a couple of times, but yeah, not quite sure what to make of it. Deeper serrations would be nice. Other than that, yeah, everything was pretty interesting. All right, guys, if you'd like to support the Military Arms channel, the best possible way to do that would be to swing by and check out Copper Custom. Also, please be sure to swing by and check out full30.com. That's full30.com. We've taken all the web's best firearms content creators and brought them under one roof, and that is full30.com. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll talk to you guys soon.